Hello, folks. How are you doing? So, it's one of these chats. I'm enjoying these chats. Not sure what I'm going to call it. I've got a kind of an idea of what we're going to be talking about. But apart from that, we're going to be going with the flow and see what comes up in today's session. And we're going to talk about awakening. Awakening, number one, looks different for everyone, but there's also similarities there as well. Awakening is not a simple process. It can be deeply painful. It can be deeply enlightening. It can be freeing. It can also feel restricting as well. It can be combative. It can make us angry. It can make us want to hide from the world. It can make us want to get out there, all of it. And there's no one day the same. Awakening, there is the spiritual awakening where you wake up and realize that there is more than this physical body, and you realize about energy and frequency and all of like spirituality. And then there is the awakening of life and the world. So you awaken to your own personal stuff. You may start to see things differently, and things can come up that maybe you suppressed, or maybe you didn't want to see, or maybe was hidden from you for your own protection. There's also the external stuff that comes up, so friends, work, family, neighborhood, truths come up. The things that we can look through rose-tinted glasses at for ourselves and the external, and the global stuff comes up as well. And all of it can be extremely overwhelming, extremely combative, extremely painful. Some of it can be freeing. I always wondered that. I knew that. But that's the bit that we love, isn't it? That's the bit that's like, go on, I knew it. But then there's the other bits where the truths that come up in relation to something that was a crutch, that we used as part of a comfort or an escapism. And those are the hardest ones to break. And we are all guilty of that, all of us. Before the awakening process and during it, there's always going to be something that we just don't want to see. There's always going to be something that, do you know what? I can't look at that. Or we can just block it out straight away. I don't want to see it. Um, then there's also the part of it that comes up where maybe you say to someone, I feel this, or I've seen this, or I've just watched a journalist, a well-respected journalist that's broken away from the mainstream, and it was an amazing video. And this has come up, and somebody next to you denies it. They push you down, they call you a conspiracy theorist, they have a go at you, they can make life very toxic for you, and they can become, and we're all guilty of this, by the way, sometimes really passive aggressive. I also know it can come the other way as well, where somebody that's on a truth-seeking journey can also become really aggressive. So it's on both sides. There is no goodies and baddies in this. When you experience that you're trying to tell somebody something, or you're trying to bring something to light, and somebody does that, where they really they twist what they say or what you say, they sugarcoat it, they make allowances for it. Don't be daft. I'm sure they meant this really, and it's downright obvious what was happening. This can cause a rage that's horrible. It can cause a gut rage, especially if it involves vulnerables, um, or like animals or children. Um, Children's and animals. There was no importance in putting animals first, because we do get told on YouTube by people, why did you make it? Once happened to me. I did a video, and I just put down the titles of the video without realizing, and I'd put quite an important topic at the end and quite a not important topic at the beginning, and I got slapped. Anyway, um, what do you do in those circumstances? I'll tell you, one of the things I've experienced this week that I will share on here was I was watching a YouTube video. It was a booktube, and it was someone that loves this. I'm not going to get into what it was, what they were talking about. You probably guess, but I just don't want to go there. I'm not in the mood for it. Um, they are a big fan of a certain program that has certain things that have come up in relation to how it treats women. It's all over the news. I'm not actually following it. I just heard this on a YouTube video, and this person loves it. And I just observed her. And she's one of these that's all for liberty and all for that and all for blah. But I observed her and I observed her how she brushed over what she wanted to brush over to fit her comfort blanket, which is this program. And I felt this rage come in because some of the things she said would have been said against me or about me when I made my um, allegations known. They will have been said. I know for a fact. I know for a fact they were. Um, and it's the one thing that they throw at women when they come forward with this. And I stood even further back from it, and it was like, it's her comfort blanket. Take that away from her and watch her flip. Truth. We've all been there, by the way, me included. I'm sure you're all aware of it. That maybe there is some aspect out there of something that we're still holding on to. Um, and I was able to move through it. Then something else came in over the past 24 hours, and I was like, ooh, it was so obvious what we were saying in this video. And this person tried to basically make allowances for it. Um, and I was speaking to a little birdie this morning. The little birdie said, yeah, but that's what did the little birdie say? The little birdie said something along the lines of it's their comfort blanket, it's their matrix, it's their own matrix. Their matrix, the matrix, which we know about, we also have our own matrix, our belief systems, our crutches, our addictions, our dependencies, our comfort blankets, all of it. And when somebody comes in to threaten that, literally, or it can become very passive or love and light it and blush it up and all of that and put loads of glitter on it and I was like, yeah, you've got a point because it made me think of the other thing I've experienced this week. And then lo and behold, something else then came up. I was watching a video whilst I was doing lots of printing off this morning. And I'm not actually going to, this is another thing I'm not going to go into, but there's a case that is possibly going for appeal. Or is it, I'm not following it, so I don't know. So please don't quote me on it. That involves somebody that worked in a very similar profession to me, and new evidence has come forward to say there is a possibility this person was set up by the people that were higher up in that institution. Boy, did that give a trigger. And it was like, oh, this is like 3 times in like 2 or 3 days now, because it brought up all my own stuff and made me question certain things that I was experiencing within the institution. Um, and the way that the powers that were within institutions can suppress and can do things to push you out or bring you down very easily, very easy. Um, and then it rained, and I had a rage at the people that play with the weather. It rained on my washing, and I just raged, and I just stood in the garden and just fumed at the people that play with the weather because that's almost four things. Whether it's their fault, I don't know. The summit being a miss this summer, put it that way. Um, what do you do with all that? And the thing is, it's actually a really big part of the experience of life, of awakening, of enlightenment. There's the fun side, the meditations, the happy clappy, the books, the crystals, the tarot, the Zen circles, the all the good stuff. But then there's this stuff. It's like you know, it's great to go for a healing session. You go into the place and there's all the crystals out. There's the music, there's the incense. Everything just feels so calm or whatever. And you have your session. Then afterwards you get diarrhea or you're being sick or there's something comes up that you have to deal with. And it's like, oh. And it's the same with awakening. It seems amazing to be freeing and amazing to be liberated, but then there's this other stuff that we've to deal with and face. And one of some of the things that I've experienced this more over the past few days, really. But this morning, in trying to process it, is allowing allowing ourselves to have our experience, but also allowing others to have their experience. Um, is the kindest thing we can do for ourselves because otherwise it'll be a shit show, and it is a shit show a lot of the time. Also, we've got to understand that many things have to happen in order to bring alertness to certain things. And that may be really frustrating. And I know that there's people throughout my life that have been frustrated with me um, for various reasons, things I've not wanted to see, things that have been too painful, when I've tried to sugarcoat things too much. And I'm having to deal with that now. I'm having to deal with the process of thinking things through, of why I didn't want to see it, why I kept holding on to it, why I did this, why I did. And you'll be going through the same things. Because this comes on to my next point of when you go on your awakening process, this happens. You think, why didn't I see it? Oh my God, I did see it, but I denied it. Why did I do that? Why, when the writing was on the wall, why did I not? Why didn't I say this? Why didn't I rage from the rooftops what was happening? Why did I take it lying down? Why did I support that famous person? Why did I support that famous family? Why did I? Why? And then that's your own personal stuff we've to look at. And again, I would say try not to beat yourself up over it because we're humans. When the minute you leave the womb, you're taught that you need a crutch. You need a comfort blanket. And that changes as you get older. And that's how people end up addicted to all kinds of things: sugar, alcohol, drugs, news, gossip, the soaps, drama. It's why people need big flashy cars. It's why people need 4 or 5 bedroomed houses. It's why people work themselves into an early grave. It's why people are chasing the next thousand, the next million, the next billion. It's why people are spend. We are all guilty of this, all of us. Um, and they are all comfort blankets. They're all comfort blankets. Reading a book is a comfort blanket. And I've said this before, going to the gym is a comfort blanket for some. It's not the same comfort blanket as having a fag, but it's a comfort blanket. If you said to someone, you've got to just reduce your gym because you're going too excessive with it's making you ill, and you said the same to a smoker, they'd get the same reaction because that's their comfort blanket. If you said to someone, look, I'm worried about your sugar intake, to someone that's, I'm worried about your wine intake, it's the same reaction. So we're taught from very early doors to have a comfort blanket. Some of those comfort blankets are fine. And if you're really good at clearing your throat, if you're really good at um balance, which I haven't been. I really struggle. By the way, guess who's coming back soon? Eddie's coming back for a chat. And we're going to be talking about, this is a tangent, we're going to be talking about addiction again and life after sobriety. So your first wedding sober, your first party you've got to go to sober, your first holiday you've got to do sober. Because those are the big milestones. Anyway, more of that in the next couple of weeks. But reading too many books can be bad for you. It's one of the things I'm saying on my book channel, which if you're not following me on there is going to be interesting. It's early doors at the minute, because I'm trying to build up content. But one of the things I'm trying to do is not read millions of books a month. I'm working through the Outlander series at the minute, which are like 15 books in one. They're about that thick, but I'm not even joking. I'm only joking. They're about that thick. Um, So they're making me slow right down in my reading. And you go on some booktubers and they're like 30, 40 books a month reading. And I'm just like, whoa. So reading can be bad for you if you aren't able to actually have another life. If your partner's trying to speak to you and you're constantly reading, if you can't go away on holiday because you've got to get through your TBR, if you're reading at work and you're not getting your job done, like I said with gymming. So everything, unless it's control it, unless we know how to nip it in the bud or control it, and we let it get out of hand, can be bad for us. So coming back to reading, hopefully we get to a stage where it's a pastime, not a comfort blanket. I know for me, reading has been a comfort blanket. When I've had to pay, and I've shared this on here, I think, and on the booktube, where I've not wanted to look at life and I've gone into certain areas of Leeds and on the bus, and there's certain areas of Leeds that I struggle with, and I would just read a book so I wouldn't have to look at the flats or anything like that. Um, so you could have a political figure as a comfort blanket. You could have a certain family as a political, certain family as a political, a certain family as a comfort blanket. You could have a certain football team. You could have a certain famous person. You could have a certain, I don't know. And we can put them on pedestals. And the truth is, everyone is human and everyone has darkness. You watch someone when they're obsessed with someone, they cannot see anything other than light. Um, so understanding that when something comes up that threatens our comfort blankets, but also another's comfort blanket, to it's a bit like fight or flight, isn't it? Some people will go for you until you're straight and accuse you of being all kinds, and others will run away from you. They'll delete you off the Facebook. They'll block your WhatsApps. They'll never speak to you again. It's fight or flight because you've threatened their comfort blanket. Maybe they're invested in healthcare or something, and see what we have to do. No, I ain't got sore arm. That's a perfect example of it. Um, and their crutches, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Um, maybe you bring up to someone, I'm concerned about, what you're taking or what we're all having these conversations, aren't we, with ourselves or with other people. And Gary's on a video call talking very loudly. And I hope my new mic's blocking it out. Anyway, talk really loud to compensate it, but then you'll get earache. Um, anyway, let's just keep going. That's it, isn't it? There's also disturbances on this path that can come in and try and take you off your path, try to distract you. Um, let's get back to where we were. So, comfort blankets, we all have them. And yes, speaking our piece, but reading the room. And I think that's the kindest thing you can do for yourself and the kindest thing you can do for another. And that's just my own personal experience of what I've witnessed in my own life and my own journey. Um, we all have a right for our own opinions. We all have a right for our own experiences. And allowing people to be where they need to be on their path. Because also, as well, the truth is this, and this honestly, things we can block things out because we don't want to see them ourselves, and your guides can block things out. I once did a shamanic meditation on my training where we're having to do some healing on ourselves, and the others in the group got it, and it was the only time I didn't get it, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet there. It was. And I said to the shaman, I said, I'm really concerned because every time I try and do what we're meant to be doing, there's a blank wall and then my guides pull me out. And she said, it's fine. There's something they don't want you to see. You're not ready for it. It's fine. Don't push it. Step out of the meditation. And she said they will do that. Guides are not brutal that will throw everything at you. If they think it's going to cause more pain, you knowing something, then you're not knowing something. They'll not let you know it because they don't want to hurt you. They don't want to cause a real derailment. And it is the case in life. Sometimes things are plonked in front of us, and sometimes there's a stepping back of things, if that makes sense. Until we're fully ready. I'm just checking time because I know I can blank. And am I still recording? I don't like this laptop for that. It stops looking like it's recording. It triggers me. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. There is no easy way in all of this. I think just having kindness and compassion for yourself. Allow yourself to feel though. So allow yourself to go, ooh, pissed me right off. Because feelings are important. Feelings are a purge. When we start suppressing it, it's okay, everyone, it's fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine, everybody. I'm fine. That's when we're in trouble. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm really angry. Can I just leave clinic and go sit in the staff room? It's really fine to go, do you know what? I'm having a real bad time at the minute and I can't face the family party because I'm too combative. To be honest with yourself and with others rather than trying to, because that causes more pain. And then it just slows the process down. Um, what other things should we, what wants to coming next? What other insights have I had this week? There is no right or wrong in any of this. Allowing yourself to have your own experience is vital. Allowing yourself to just be you is vital. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It just has to be real. This top is getting too big. Um, I think it's going to be what's an old video this, you know. I'm feeling it. Um, you've just got to be real to you. And allowing others to have their own journeys is vital in all of this. It really is. Um, I think as well with the Mercury retrograde, this last week has been wicked. No, my niece came up with a word the other day, peng. Well, that's maybe meant to be a good thing. Well, it is the slang that they use. I don't know what it is in other countries. Let me state that fact now. Um, but this past week with Mercury retrograde, put it this way, it's the energies have been. I think there'll be a lot of awakenings going on this week. I think there's a lot of coiled spring energy, a lot of purging, a lot of reclimatizing, reassimilating, a lot of processing going on this week, a lot of deep thinking that's personal to you. But also, I think there's a lot of collective deep thinking. I think we're collectively deep thinking together in certain ways, if that makes sense. Um, yes, feelings are important on the awakening journey. Allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to have a moment, allowing yourself to get it wrong. I think it's great getting it wrong, actually. There's so much to learn from getting it wrong. There's so much to learn from effing up. Um, that's where you get your lessons from. Um, let's do a sacred activation. See what the activation is for this week. I was actually going to do these cards at the end. See, this is a deck I like. Now I know there's possibly AI being used in this or whatever, but I know what I mean. Activations by Lon. I don't know who Lon is, but it's a deck that I've always liked. Anyway, let's pull a card. So show me an activation for this week. Why have we been feeling like we have been feeling? Earth has just flipped out. Miracle. Earth and miracle. Solar plexus. I know a lot of you have said about issues with the gut this week. Let's take another one. And the crown chakra. Again, incoming codes, huge codes. I was watching someone the other day and they were saying that the Lion's Gate, along with the supermoon, along with Mercury retrograde, along with this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Barbara putting a cat out on Monday. It's caused a shit show energetically, but in a good way. So crown chakra, let me read this with a squint. My glasses are not here, they're in the bedroom. The frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. So, this week we have been transmuting negative energy into light, or whenever you're drawn to watch this, because I don't think this is just happening in a week. I think this can be happening all the time. So, as things have been coming up, dense energy, we've been turning it into light, which is why it's been how it has been. I'm not going to try and put labels on it or words. And solar plexus chakra, I'm exaggerating. The frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. So, wholeness, realizing that it's okay if somebody does have a different perspective. And also, as well, that person having a different perspective and voicing it shows us where our vulnerabilities, where we've still got our wounding. And I think wounding is fine. Like that girl on the YouTube channel, she wasn't saying that to upset me, but because I had trauma in that area, I had wounding still there, it came up. But that's a good thing because then I've had to rethink this week and really go into another layer of it. Earth. The frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to the physical plane by showing us the beauty of all aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. So, whilst the world has been going nuts with all the news and all the drama and all the illusion, the mind, body, and soul has been doing its overtime. And all of it together has caused a real exhaustion because even if you're not watching it, it's still energy. You know, like say next door, if they're feeling something, you're going to feel it. Um, Lots of people say, oh, I'm sensing something coming in the comments, I'm sensing this and I'm sensing that. You can sense all kinds of things. Everything is energy, and especially when you have the ability to tap into energy. Um, I'm sure in those cards it talked about collective consciousness. So we're all feeling some of it. For some people, it's full on. I can't remember a video I once put, and this was a long time ago, possibly 2020, 21. And I think I said something along the lines of it's almost like trying to get this into correct word in which I could struggle with. A certain pain for one individual can be too much. So that pain is spread amongst people. So collectively we all hold it. And that's not a narcissistic thing. I might feel your pain. I am not that person. I am not that. Nobody else can feel another's pain. But you can feel the resonance of that. You know, if someone came to me and said they just lost a parent, I wouldn't turn around and say, I can feel your pain. No, I can't. I am not their physical body. I am not their soul. I can feel my own resonance. I can feel what I'd feel if that was me, but I can't feel their pain. Um, we can feel our trauma from our own trauma. So, say if your parent has died, you're feeling some residual left from that. Should we leave these out? We'll leave these out. The rain coming. Um, Emergence. So yeah, what are we going to go on to next? Do you think what topic are we going to hit next? Stillness, the need for stillness and peace and quiet and collaboration. It's almost like there's an energy this week of just looking over the past 4 years and just there's almost like a coming together energy again of all the different things we've all said and done, and sometimes got it right, sometimes got it wrong, sometimes not been sure. It's almost like a brushing down energy and then coming back together as one. It's weird the weather, like coming sunny now. Um, does that make sense? I think it is the journey that we're on right now is a beautiful journey. It's a transformative journey. It's truly painful, but it's truly beautiful at the same time. And it is the gift that keeps on giving and will keep on giving till the day you die. And then when you go back into energy, will continue to give as well. The energetic life and the life of revelation and enlightenment doesn't stop. It continues, whatever form you're in. Don't run from your darkness. Don't run from your shadow. Don't run from the pain. Something came to me this week, and that was via another video I was watching. I've watched a lot of videos this week because I've been doing a lot of printing off for the tax man. Um, it's that time of year where he wants to gather everything up and send it off to be checked. Um, and it was basically on the lines of when we persist something and fight it, no, when we fight something, it persists. That the minute we stop trying to save ourselves, heal ourselves, and we just experience it, God, I feel anxious. Why do I feel anxious? Is it a psychic attack? Is something happening? Is something coming in? Oh my God, what have I done? Have I not been meditating properly? Rather than go, I feel anxious today. I feel anxious. It's fine. I know it'll pass. It's just a feeling, it's an energy. But the more we try and heal it, the more we try and fight it, the worse it gets, the bigger it gets. Because the more our body does then go into fight or flight. It's like an ache in the body. The more what is this? I need to heal it. Oh, yeah, what is it? And the more we fight something, um, the more we try and fight experiences, because we're really good at the good stuff, the holidays, the parties, the weddings, and all of that. I mean, sometimes even that can be dramatic. But we're not so good with the bad with not the bad stuff. I'm not saying things are good and bad, but you know what I mean. We're not so good with that stuff. That can really boom. But allowing it all to happen and being at peace with it all happening. Um, hmm, see what else we can talk about. Not running away from things. Not running away from things that need to be said. And that can be really hard, can't it? Not running away from things that need to be said, or things that need to be done, changes that need to be made. Because there's a lot coming up in relation to things that need to be said, changes need to be made. But what if I say the wrong thing? What if I make the wrong change? Well, then it's fine. Everyone says the wrong thing, makes the wrong decision. That's life. That's part of the process. That's part of the thing that makes it fun. The alchemist. Um, so take the pressure off yourselves. Say what needs to be said. Do what needs to be done. I understand though, it is scary at times out there. Speaking of things that need to be said, I still keep getting emails and comments in relation to not doing real content anymore. There are many, many reasons why I don't do it anymore. Um, let me get my words straight. We have to accept that sometimes people make decisions that we may not understand why they make them, and we have to be at peace with it. And plaguing someone or is not helpful. It's not helpful. You will find throughout your life, throughout this awakening journey, that things will change, people will change, and some of it you'll understand, and some of it you won't. And it'll be the same for you. It's the same for you as a human. Some changes within you you'll understand, and some changes you won't until later down the line. And that's fine. There's many reasons why, and I'm just trying to think of the ones I'm going to talk about. I went for a Reiki healing session. I was trying to think about this morning, whether it was June or July, and I can't remember. Can't. All I know is that I went for one, and it was a while since I've been for one. And it was the most beautiful session I've ever had in my life. And literally, I was buzzing for days after it. Anyhow, I'm laid on the bed, and this upgrade, download, pure energy, white light, I don't know, came in, and literally, it was something I've never experienced before. And I'm really struggling to put this into words because I can't, because it's in here, if that makes sense. It's like when you're channeling, sometimes the words just don't come out, but it's the knowledge. It's weird, like codes, maybe. Um, and when it came through, I found myself on the bed thinking, or hearing, feeling, sensing, you have to stop doing the roll reads. I swear to you. Or it was something along the lines of, I'm not going to be able to do the roll reads anymore now. It was that. I'm not going to be able to do the roll reads anymore. Can't pick it apart. It was just pure light consciousness that came in. And even like the healer was like, oh, this is amazing. Um, and I was like buzzing, and I mean buzzing for hours afterwards. Like the world was perfect. There were unicorns. It was amazing, beautiful session. And then the purge came from that. Thanks for that. The Debbie Downer stepped in. Um, and I remember processing that and kind of understanding why that energy had come in, why that message had come in. Um, because the truth is, that type of stuff is not high consciousness. And that's from someone that used to do it. That was Claire then. This is Claire now. And that's the truth of it. There is no right, there is no wrong from it. The Claire you have now would struggle to do a celebrity read, would feel yucky, contaminated, would feel conflicted. Because the truth is, you can't really speak a truth now in relation to certain things on the interweb. So I was like, well, there's a lot of people follow that content. What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do for them? Can I film it for people? Because if I'm following someone, you can become part of someone's life and routine and comfort blanket. So I was like, well, we'll go on to, I'll only do with them. You see, this is me doing it now. Well, I'll foot in both worlds. Seesaw, come on. Well, I'll only do with them when there's breaking news. Um, and in the meantime, I'll do other things. Didn't work. Still felt contaminated. Still felt ick. And it went on for a few weeks, and I just felt a real slump in my energy, and I just felt that my soul was crying out for me to step totally away from anything to do with royal tarot, political tarot, celebrity tarot, anything that wasn't awakening. I mean, I can do tarot scopes and stuff like that, and tarot energy reads because that's for humanity. That's for helping collective consciousness. That's to bring peace, to bring healing, to bring understanding for myself and for you. But anything in relation to that, I feel really, really ick. And my body has a really bad reaction to it. I can't do it. Um, and it's been a long time coming. Um, anything plus as well, having to deal with the fallout from that is profound. There's a small group of people on the internet that cannot balance themselves, they cannot regulate, and I will say that. There is a huge group on the internet of people that are balanced, emotionally intelligent, kind, loving, compassionate. They can listen to different perspectives. They hold light, they hold balance. They're able to see bigger pictures, but there's also a bunch that are, and this is both sides, by the way, that are just, and to deal with that day in, day out, day in, day out. And some of those comments weren't actually about me. It was about certain stuff that it was just really, really unhelpful. And yes, not something I wanted to do and deal with for my job day in, day out. Also, as well, then, but in the meantime, all this, we'd booked to go on holiday because obviously we have another channel which we do vlogs, tours. And we'd booked holiday in Scotland with, I think, was it two places or three? Can't remember. You see, I forget things. When we'd booked to go around Britannia and Balmoral and Glamis. Glamis, horrific, horrific place. If you've been to Glamis Castle, no. It had weird stuff in it, dungeons, and I don't know, it was just weird. I'm not gonna go, I don't want to bring that energy in. Anyway, we didn't vlog it. Put it that way. It was that bad we didn't vlog it. And I'd got to a stage where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the rest of it. No, Balmoral, not Balmoral. Britannia came before Glams. I'll come to Britannia in a minute. And I knew Balmoral was the last stop, and we'd got to a stage where we'd paid big money for that. Stupid. Anyway, that's how quick things can change, upgrades. You can be one thing on Monday, and on Tuesday, you're a totally different thing. You know, you may have paid on Monday to go to a rock concert, and on Tuesday, you're like, I've had an upgrade, I don't want to go anymore. And that can be really frustrating, especially when we're spending money and other people are involved. But anyway, Gary was fine because he's used to it now. And it was, well, if you get to Balmoral and you can't do it, he'll do it. But you're not allowed to film in there anyway. And I did do it, by the way. And I'll tell you about it in a minute. I actually said, I said, I'll wait until after the holiday and I'll decide fully what's going to happen with that channel. I'll know once I've been around Britannia and no, Britannia. And even see how there's been a change in my speech talking about it. Britannia and Balmoral. Britannia, from an energetic perspective, from a historical perspective, if you're into your naval stuff. And the ship was built in the 50s, decommissioned in the 90s. It's very interesting because you see all the different parts of history, all the different decades. From an energetic perspective, especially in the royal compartments, is extremely sad. I had a really weird experience of which one of you on the Thackeray said you had, and we had not talking about this. It's talking, spoken, where basically, if you go on, you come around the front of it, where the royals used to sit and sunbathe. And I had a really weird experience when I started to scream and to cry. And I felt Diana come in. And I really struggled, really struggled. I'm like, freak. I'm not even going to be able to go in. We went in and we saw the place where the room where Charles and Diana spent their honeymoon, and literally the sadness and the pain and the trauma of that young girl, because she was a young girl, 19, 20 years old. You are a young girl, you're not yet a woman. And the pain, honestly, I was nearly doubled over. Thankfully, the work I do, I'm able to get myself through it a little bit better than I have in the past. It was painful, painful, painful. And one of you also had that experience there. The devastation of being on honeymoon with a man that takes a picture of his concubine and as his cufflinks with seasons. You all know the story. Must have been shocking. Yes, but Diana, yes, but Diana. Yes, but Diana was an older woman when she did it. She'd left Charles when she had some fun. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not getting into the big debates because if that starts, the comments will be getting turned off because I'm strict. Anyway, Balmoral, I'm just, I just didn't like it. There was all stag heads that they'd killed, all on the walls, all down the corridors. Bloodbath, and it felt horrific. I'm talking, these rooms are huge, and all around, all down the corridors in the living rooms, the of all these stag heads of the stag, obviously the stag, the date it was killed, and the name of the royal. Apparently, they stopped recording it in that way in the 40s, but they still do it. That's why they go to Balmoral at certain times to partake in blood sports. Anyway, and they had there was a gong in reception, and I found myself just gazing at it. And the tour guide noticed it, and she was like, "Oh yes, that's the family gong, and this it's got their motto on it, and it was in Gaelic or Italian, I don't know." And I was like, because I didn't understand it, and she said, "Don't quote me on this, but these were her words to an effect: cross us at your peril, we will destroy you." I know, and I went, "Excuse me." And what got me was me and Gary went, "Oh," and everybody else was like, "Ew, isn't it wonderful?" And I just looked at Gary and Gary was like, don't, don't. I'm moving on from the subject. Anyway, lo and behold, all wrapped up. Everything else that's gone on, I am not doing more readings anymore. I'm sorry, I don't apologise if that offends you. It's part of my awakening journey. It was part of my own personal experience of going there in the first place. I don't judge myself for it, just like I don't judge anybody else that's gone there for it. Um, Going forward, healing, awakening, ascension, um, and unity consciousness. Anything that takes us away from ourselves, anything that gives us joy that doesn't come from within, I'm hearing it's not acceptable. The days of having crutches and using things as a crutch are over. Um, and burping. See, that's energy moving. Um, it's over. And it feels good. And I'm actually enjoying doing more. And I'd been aware I'd not been spending enough time on this channel. It'd been taking second place because obviously the shit show that came up this year, as we know, that as well. Yes. Um, a game was being played there that was not nice. And in fact, somebody was talking about that this morning, a video I was watching, and I was like, oh my God, yes, I am. I felt like I was the only one that felt that. I tell you what I felt in a nutshell, that a situation had been allowed to get out of hand in order to make certain people that were speaking the truth about it look idiots. Do you get my drift? I remember when, yes, anyway, and I just feel uncomfortable about that situation. The situation that developed this started on 28th of December, when ambulances and police cars were seen coming high speed from Sandringham and to, well, present day. It's all very uncomfortable. It's all very divisive. It's all very sad. And I think the only way forward is the light. So let's pull some cards. I will say, because and I know the vast majority of people, but anything that starts in the comments, I am sorry. I will have to delete a comment for my own mental health. If you carry on, if people do currently blocks, people do get blocked. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I've got to look after mental health, just like you do. Like I said, the vast majority of people get it, understand that the journey is a complex journey. And if it does turn into a shit show, the comment section, I will turn them off. Um, what card has just plopped out? Romantic love, empowerment, love, and empowerment. The frequency of romantic love. Let's take romantic out of it. The frequency of love supports our journey to feel whole and complete through the experience with and reflection of a conscious lover. So take lovers and take romance out of it. And it's the love of ourselves and it's the love of others and empowerment. Anything that wants to put people in against two people or against two situations or against two countries, you're either supporting this country or that country, or this person or that person, is not of unity consciousness, is not of love. Anything that stands by and watches that and lets that rumble is not. And there's a lot of that in all areas of life at the minute. Um, let's pull some cards for this week. Let's empowerment, self-empowerment. So the bank holiday weekend, of which is upon us. I mean, this video will actually be going out. When shall we? Let me going out. No, I won't do it for the bank holiday weekend. I'll just do it some cards going forward for us, rather than putting a date on it. Oops. Emergence. Yay. Emergence. Root chakra. Should we read it? The frequency of the root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well as the physical world. Emergence, the frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. So this is about, it's what we've been talking about: emergence, healing, grounding, facing our fears, and those fears will be vast. Fears have been mocked, judged, laughed at, ridiculed, not understood, um, bullied, mocked, whatever it is, and actually emerging from that. So everything that's sent to us, everything that's sent physically, energetically, mentally, that we go through is about emergence, for us to remember who we are at soul level, that actually the rest of it is stuff and nonsense, to find peace and healing in light, in the dark as well, to embrace the shadow, embrace the things we've got right, done wrong, and even looking at the things that we've done wrong as the things we've done right, because out of doing them, we became the people that we are today. And I will leave you people with a final card: healing. The frequency of healing supports our intrinsic ability to restore our health wholeness by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses and harmonizing everything accordingly. The frequency of healing supports our intrinsic ability to restore our health and wholeness by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses and harmonizing everything accordingly. That's it. That's my video. Tarot scopes for September are done. They'll be released in the last week of August. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.